Hey everyone, Nick here, and today I'm joined by Michael Dooley, the CEO of Pinnacle Online Marketing. Michael, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Pleasure.
Mate,
Thanks for having me, buddy.
no worries at all. Mate, just very quickly, we've got a few things I want to dive into here. If you can give the agents watching this today a bit of a brief rundown of what you do.
Okay, so we are a top of funnel marketing agency that mixes lead generation with AI technology. So we're also a SaaS agency, which is software as a service. So we basically bridge the gap between leads and the end result, putting it simple.
So for someone like me, what does all that mean?
Okay, so basically from our point of view, we do top of funnel lead generation through socials. We do database reactivation via direct outreach, email, SMS, voicemail. SMS, I'm a huge fan of at the moment.
Yeah.
97% open rate in the first 3 minutes.
How does
And
that
then
work? Sorry.
Pardon?
I was going to say, how does the SMS work against email, the open rates?
Yeah, so at the moment with what we're seeing, and we've got a large footprint. We're in 9 countries now. So we're seeing 97% open rate in the first 3 minutes for SMS.
Right.
And then email open rates, deliverability, we're seeing somewhere in the vicinity of sort of 60 to 80 from what we've got.
Yeah.
And open rates, a good open rate at the moment is probably worldwide is probably like 30%. I'm hearing some other agencies are only getting like 18. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And then voice notes on the back of that, so voicemail and messenger, we can automate all of that. So basically our AI technology can go to a point of conversing with a potential lead right through to scraping the availability of a calendar and via conversational SMS booking in an appointment to our client's calendar. So that's the extreme of it. Doesn't always work for every industry like that, and I don't always recommend it for every industry because my belief is that AI technology isn't to replace humans, it's to make them more efficient and for humans to leverage it. So
it's to streamline your business and what's the word, fill any gaps, any holes, and like you said, the funnel, progress people. And and I'm a big fan, and we were speaking off there yesterday about the booking system thing that I've put in, and where it's worked really well for me as a business is it's taken that admin stuff aside. As far as someone is interested in our product, okay, that's great. They get the info pack sent directly to them. We've got a trigger that sets up. So a couple of days later, they'll get an email from me asking if they'd like to book in a call and have a conversation about our services, and then we can go from there. So it's because I found and the way I was running it, someone wants to have a chat. Yep, Zoom, that's great. What time? You're going back and forth trying to find a time. Then you've got to create the Zoom thing, the meeting, chuck it in your calendar, invite, and it was just a nightmare. So now I've got the booking system set up. It just books up my calls for a day. So I like that. So I want to talk to you about, because you mentioned there about the tone of the conversation and the way that, especially the SMS, if we can touch on that for a tick.
Yep. Basically, you've got to be really careful with this stuff. And we started off doing really well with building chatbots in social media to basically collect leads for lead generation. And we, as you know, we were pretty recognized in the real estate and automotive space in that. We've progressed. We've still got all that there with the top of funnel lead generation, but then we've obviously built out this AI technology, which now has multi-system communication with somebody to basically not only self-book them in for an appointment, but also nurture them along pre and post-purchase. So that there basically takes the heavy lifting off the sales consultant, off the agent, to be able to spend more time doing what they do best, and that's in front of somebody.
So I want to come back to that SMS in a second, but I do want to touch on something you just said about chatbots. We've had a lot of conversations about this off air. I've had a lot of conversations with members that we've picked up, and I've had a lot of members being approached by these companies that put this stuff out. Now, anyone that watches me knows that the 100 leads in 90 days, I think, is absolute garbage for the reason, based on my experience, it's been some of these chatbot or some of these leads or these inquiries coming in are 4 or 5 hours away. So they're just, but not only the distance, the wording in some of these chatbots, and that they're hounding them, they're harassing them. As far as someone will, I've seen people say, "Stop messaging me," and it keeps messaging. Where do you see the pros and the cons with a chatbot? And because a lot of people,
I see the pros in really well-made chatbots, and done correctly off proven audiences. If we're talking top of funnel lead generation, if we're talking cold lead generation, the secret to any lead generation, and you'll probably agree with this, is trying to get people in the buying cycle earlier.
Yes,
higher in the buying cycle. Means it's going to be a cheaper lead, but then you have more control over that prospect until they actually come onto market through, the age-old thing. They have to know, like, and trust you to do business. And the earlier you can get them in the buying cycle, the better opportunity you have at that. Now, what a chatbot potentially does, and we've had so many conversations around this where I built one out in a training forum for some social media marketers, and now I'm seeing my old chatbots, which was a demo, and it wasn't built to actually convert. It was just to show people the power of it, now being used in these pitches, and for what we're talking about, the 100 leads in 90 days, whatever it may be, and it's just, from that point of view, it's unqualified data. I wouldn't call them leads. I wouldn't call them leads at all. And if we're talking about that, you've got to have some sort of, and we've got to be really careful, because there's new laws coming out. FTC laws in America, Australian laws are coming out now, where people have to be able to opt out of these sorts of communication, these automatic communication. And if they're poorly made chatbots or poorly made AI technology, you can find yourself at litigation and out of pocket by a lot of money, because these marketing agencies or yourself haven't quite figured out how to build these things correctly, and it's going to hurt you in the long run if you're not careful with what you're putting in place.
And mate, that's the thing. I mean, I get a lot of people come to me and they're like, "Nick, just get me the appointment with the socials. Just run an ad and get me the appointment." And unfortunately, it can work like that. I'm not a big fan. I would prefer it gets to the point where agent picks up the phone and builds that rapport. But with what you're saying then about these poorly built chatbots, we all want the 100 leads and things like that. But if you've got a poorly built chatbot, and let's be honest, a lot of agents are not going to go in and have a look at the back end as far as what the conversation is being had. So they don't know what's being put out to their marketplace. And that's going out under your page, guys. Like, that's going out as you. People will eventually put 2 and 2 together after the first couple of messages that they are speaking to a robot, but it's still a representation of your brand that you have spent years building to have something that seems too good to be true, pushing stuff out. And that's why I wanted to get you on today, Michael, because as most people know by now, we've collaborated as far as this is a space that we at Bespoke don't necessarily play in. And I get pitched to by all these companies who want to team up and want to collab and want to get in front of my members and stuff like that. And it's like, no. But I've got members that work with you and they're very happy with what you do. But coming back to what you're putting out to the members, I want to come back to the SMS for a second. Now, how you give the guys a bit of a view on how you structure that, because it's not just one SMS. There's actually a strategy involved. How you do that with the follow-up, the activity, and the voicemail. How does that work?
Yeah, so let's just say we look at it from a point of view of top of funnel lead generation and how this may work. So let's just say we see an ad template that we want to use. We plug that in, and on the back of the ad template, it might be a handful of qualifying questions. Okay. The system picks that up and then sends an SMS to the prospect and says, "Thank you for inquiring. Thank you for leaving your details. Can we just confirm that these details are correct? If this is correct, reply back yes." If they reply back yes, obviously it's all good. Basically, from there, when we're building them out, we usually have to have 3 different paths for every stage of questioning built out. What that means is basically if it's all goes streamlined, which it's rare. It's rare that everything will be streamlined and go the way that you want it to. Then you want to be able to have a path where you can vary. It's called our variable path, where if somebody doesn't quite answer a question correctly, or if there's like a little left field answer thrown in there, How does the AI then answer that? You know, the age-old thing where you don't want the AI to send a message to somebody and say, can you please send me a phone number? And then somebody says why, and then the AI says, thank you very much.
Yes.
That, there's what we're talking about poorly built AI technology.
Yes.
When we're talking about SMS, it's basically all just a type of communication. Now, what we want to do is make sure that if something happens or something's not quite right, what do we do with that lead? That lead shouldn't just fall out of the cracks. It should go directly to a person as quick as possible to say, hey, look, here is a possibly qualified lead. However, it didn't quite go down the AI route well, or it didn't hit the parameters for us to continue via AI. Can you please take over the conversation? Here is how they've answered all the questions, or here is where the conversation is at the moment.
Is that for the agent? The agent?
So for an agent, so let's just say for an agent, we would run a lead generation ad for listings. And, you know, whatever the hook or, you know, get a property appraisal, whatever it may be, somebody opts in, they leave all their details, they get an SMS. They're starting to converse with the AI technology via SMS because it's high open rate about when they're ready to sell, what needs to be done to the property before sale, have they found somewhere to move into, all this sort of stuff. And then if for some reason it just goes off and it's not quite right, the agent, the way we build them is that the agent will get an SMS and an email straight away, and it'll have, here is the lead details, here is how they've answered all the questions, here is where the conversation's up to, click this button to take over. And then they just click the button and they take over the conversation. It's seamless.
Now, excuse me. Sorry. Okay. So with a couple of the members that we've done, that you've done the work with the SMS, it seemed, and I think it's force of habit, and I know I do it. We do an email blast to about 30 or 50,000 people every Sunday afternoon. Our strategy is a little bit different for delivering the SMS in a bulk blitz, isn't it? Now, can you tell people why you spread it out?
So that's one, spam laws. Okay, it's a thing. Telecommunications spam laws. We've got to make sure of that. And you know, the next thing there as well is, from our point of view, what if something's not right? We want to make sure that we can go in and fix it before it goes out to the whole database. But also on that point of view, you want to be able, in terms of doing direct outreach, the best direct outreach is via a well-constructed list or database. So if I want to construct a certain type of messaging to, you know, people who are buying a property up to $1 million and are looking for a 3-bedroom townhouse, that type of messaging is going to be completely different to somebody that's looking for an acreage on the edge of the city that has up to 5 million to spend and is wanting, you know, 5 acres and all of this and that. That type of messaging, those two potential clients are going to be completely different. So why would we send a full blanket message to the whole database on that respect?
Well, it's
got to be customized.
Well, it's the same with your emails. I mean, I did a video about this the other day. I've got as you know, I've got members over in the States and things like that, and I'm getting their just listeds. Now, I don't mind it because I like to see what my guys are doing, but I get emails even here in Australia. When I was looking at selling a property in Newcastle a year or so ago, sold it myself, suburb record, by the way. But I was looking, I'm not a buyer anymore, and I'm still getting the whole shebang. And it's like, it's not relatable to me. No one's picked up the phone and called me to see how my property journey is going. But you're right as far as separating. And I get it all the time and I spoke to someone the other day. I said, look, if you do different marketing tactics, you might spend a higher spend on one avenue to a smaller group of people. And it might cost you more to do that than to just spam everyone. But you're going to get a better return because you're sending quality value information to that person that wants to know about it.
With our lead generation, if we do, going back to, you know, how it can work is that if you're doing a lead generation campaign, and let's just say one of the questions might be is, are you looking at listing your property in the next 3 months or 6 months plus?
Yes.
So the way that you're looking after those two lead types are very, very different. Now,
Yes.
the AI can see how those two basically answer the question. And then from there on, they go down different paths of automation.
Right.
So for us, if somebody says that they're looking at listing in 6 months plus, and it's a legitimate reason that they're just not quite ready or whatever it may be, our AI via Facebook Messenger, if they've come in that way, email, SMS, and voice notes, like that automation in terms of staying in touch with the customer, giving them free guides, free like information, just following up with them, letting them know properties that are just sold, all this, all done via automation. That path there alone could be 18 months.
Exactly.
And that's the hands-off part of AI that is really, really powerful, that you can nurture via multi-communication. You can nurture tens of thousands of leads all at once. And then in person, be only dealing with the ones that are ready to go, but in their eyes, and if it's done correctly, you're still nurturing all of these leads coming onto market until they're actually ready to go.
And that's why I wanted to collab with you with the two products that we've got, is because it is, and this is the thing I get from some of our guys or new members coming on. Some people are under the impression that when they engage us, they're going to get listings and appraisals in the first month. And there's a whole strategy behind all of this. And I've got, as you know, I'm about to hit 850 members across 6 countries. So I've got them to look after, and I've got about 200 in the pipeline that I need to talk to, and I've got to continue marketing myself. All this stuff, it's not to get listings for today. It is to make sure, like you said, nurturing. It's to make sure that you're top of mind. And whenever people think selling a property or leasing a property, they think of you. So you've got to have all these aspects done right. It is the voice, it is the email, it is the social media ads, it is the SMS, it is, from our part, knowing what content to put out in front of people. If you send an SMS to me, I'll get an SMS saying, are you selling in 2020? No, I'm not. Excuse me. I own property though. If I got a text message and said, would you like to know how to add an extra $10 a week to your rent? I want to know that. I want to know how I can, get an extra 10 or 20.
So from an agent point of view, this is a really interesting part of conversation, is that let's just put our mind back to, was it the start of this year or late last year when Facebook went down?
Which time?
When
the system crashed, it was the start of the year, this year.
Start of the year, down for 4 days, is that right? 4 days?
Yeah, and Messenger and all that,
Okay, so what if potentially that was down for 3 weeks? Okay, what would you do then? Are you relying on your lead generation and then just wanting to nurture and wanting to get those people that are ready to go on market? That's what I mean about getting people earlier on market, where basically, if you can continually build your database, and look, email is great, but it's old now in terms of that side of it. It's longer form. The strategy behind it is a lot different. Your open rates are lower. It's more about general branding. And how often do you open a subscribed email that comes in every single week? You might go back and open one every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, or you'll go back and open it up and then forget about it because you get so many. But I can tell you now, this goes off.
You would at least look at it. You would at least
well, straight away I'm thinking it must be a family or friend because they're the people who have my number. So I'm going to open it. And then all of a sudden it can be, hey, Michael, it's Nick here from Nick Friend Real Estate. I just wanted to show you, if you click this link here, this is a property that I sold 2 weeks ago. Let me know if you want to have a chat. Don't have to do a hard sell, but imagine if you had a database like that you sent that out to 5,000 people, that same SMS. And out of that 5,000 people, if we're talking open rates, 97%, 4,850 of those will open it in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah. And that's where, again, it comes back to how we're collaborating, as far as, as you know, I send our stuff out on a Sunday afternoon, again, because you are fighting those algorithms.
And you've tested it. You know what your open rates are. You know when
100%.
the optimum time is.
And I know all my members read religiously every single email because they're very informative. But also, email is it's like everything. It's a lead generation campaign is not going to build you a business. A email once a week with your open homes is not going to grow your business. SMS every now and then is not going to grow your business. It's absolutely everything. And that's where, mate, probably to wrap it up. Actually, no, I do want to talk to you about your platforms pushing some stuff out. But that's where every aspect of marketing, you've got to have it right. And you've got to, if you're not a professional at it, work with people like us who can at least give you that guidance, because it's not just about sending an email out on a Friday afternoon with your open homes, because they've decided. So you've got to have a good balance and know what you're doing and when, and the messaging and all that kind of stuff. Mate, to wrap it up, the last two things I want to talk to you about is you guys can obviously, through your system, send out for reviews for Facebook and Google and things like that. And your system also pushes content out to all the portals, so all the platforms. So Google My Business, TikTok, I believe you're doing now, or it's coming.
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram.
So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google My Business, TikTok ads integration. We're just waiting for the native organic integration.
Yep.
So basically what that means, if you're running any ads on any of those platforms, the leads can come directly into our platform, and then via that way, automation can kick in and sort the leads out from hot to medium to, a little bit colder to nurturing, and then it can go down the automation routes. In terms of that side of it, theoretically, a lead generation campaign, you could select from the ad library a lead gen ad, select your daily budget, let it go, and then you might get a lead, 10, 15 pieces of information. They're not quite ready to go. All of a sudden, your phone goes off in 3 months' time. You've got an appointment to call somebody tomorrow afternoon because they potentially want to list a property. That it's a lead that you got 3 months ago that you have been staying in touch with, but it's been done for you, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. And then on the back end of that is that once this property is sold, you can then obviously stay in touch with your past clients, past investors and so on, via multi-communication, automating Facebook and Google reviews, and then automating communication for referrals, and then basically future business. So it's, in terms of platform wise, we've got a lot of features, and it's probably too much to go into in this conversation, but it's between, I know between, that's why we work together, is because between us, we've got a full suite.
Yeah. And okay, mate. So probably running out of time for everything. But what I would like to do probably next year, because we are looking at, because it is such a great service, having everything together, wouldn't mind getting you back on a little bit more often to have a chat to the guys, because this is such a big thing when it comes to your marketing strategy. And, some people are doing bits and pieces. So to pull something together would be great. Michael, awesome. Anyone watching this, Michael Dooley, Pinnacle Online Marketing, wherever you see this, his details will be there. We'll tag him, whatever. Mate, thank you very much for sitting down with me today. Our members that use you are extremely happy, and I know that the product works.
Thanks, buddy. Much appreciated.